Good afternoon, everybody. This is Resilient Father podcast. I'm here with the guest, Mrs. Jazz. Mrs. Jazz, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jazz. I'm from Canada.
From Canada. How's the weather over there right now?
It is 15 degrees.
15 degrees. Is that negative or just 15 degrees?
15 degrees positive.
Okay, pretty chilly. I'm in Cali right now. I think we're like in the low 70s.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's definitely a lot warmer
Oh,
than,
right. Right.
definitely a lot warmer.
Fahrenheit.
All right, so let's get started with this. Who are you? What are you doing?
I'm Jazz from Canada. I am in recovery. I went to a treatment center about 5 years ago for alcohol. And yeah, I've been basically working on recovery for the last 5 years. I am also a mother. I once, I used to be self employed, but now I'm just doing the mother thing.
Okay, so you have your hands
Yeah,
full. You have your hands
I
full
got
with
my
quite a.
hands full.
Okay,
Yeah, with four boys and one on the spectrum.
okay.
Yeah.
I have a brother. He has a learning disability as well, and
Hmm.
he's a year older than me. But he's really smart, and everybody loves him. Everybody
Hmm.
that runs into him, they just love him, and I'm really happy for him as
Hmm.
far as that goes. So, do
Yeah.
you have a podcast yourself?
Yeah, I have a podcast. It's called No Veil Recovery, and it right now I'm mainly sticking to alcoholism and addiction. Although I was kind of doing codependency and addiction, but I'm just trying to niche down a little bit more to get my maybe my base followers. So basically, lately it's been more and more about alcoholism,
Okay,
beating, drinking, and stuff like that.
so you struggled with alcohol abuse for a long time then?
I did. I did. I didn't know that. I was I thought I was just normal and drinking and kept getting worse and my problems kept getting worse. And then I hit a bottom and went to rehab, thank God. And then I at rehab was when I realized, oh, I'm an alcoholic. I This is my problem. And then started work on everything under that. Like alcohol is the symptom, and then everything that was wrong was everything under that I was just coping with the alcoholism, the
Okay.
alcohol.
Is that
Yeah.
something that you would like to share with today, as far as like
I'm
some stuff that you were going through and why that made you turn to alcohol?
I'm pretty an open book. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with pretty
Okay.
much whatever you ask me that I don't want to answer, I'm just not going to answer
Right.
or let you know.
Would you like to
Yeah.
share a little bit about that?
What I'm willing to talk about and not talk about, or
Yes.
the
Are you willing to share one of the things that you were dealing with on a
sure.
personal level, and what would that be?
Um, Back when I was in active addiction, um, I, huh, well, what brought me to my bottom was a domestic relationship. That brought me to my bottom of drinking, and I thought that was the, I thought that was the problem was the relationship. And then when my ex-husband left the house, my drinking just I went on a deeper slide, even faster, and I was like, "What is going on?" And it's just I think everything was just, like, coming up. I just couldn't hold it down anymore, and my drinking picked up, and I think, like, that was the big thing that led me to my bottom of drinking,
Mhm.
if that makes sense, right? And, yeah, I mean, I had to I had to figure out why, like, basically, I should have never been in that relationship for as long as I was. I shouldn't even have gotten into it, and I stayed there longer than I should have, and, you know, it was hard to get out of that, and I was just drinking to survive it, and so anyways, the relationship, dissolved, and then getting to rehab helped too because that dissolved the drinking.
Gotcha. Okay. I kn-
Mhm.
I know there's a lot more people that struggle with domestic abuse
Mhm.
than people talk about. Obviously, my mom was abused when we were little, and as well as myself. I'm one of 7 kids. We're all abused, but I'm glad
Mm.
that you're able to, separate yourself at least, in recovering from having to use alcohol to try to get through that. So you said it's been about 5 years. So that's a positive step for you. So that's good.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Um, so you said you have a podcast. What are you hoping to gain from the podcast?
Um, I'm not hoping to gain anything per se. I'm hoping to spread the message. I'm hoping to share what I've learned. I'm looking to give what I can. I was a painter in trades for 16 years and ran my own business. And then, getting sober and then getting more clearer, I started to figure out I'm a different person. And I lost all my passion for the trades and my job, and I'm like, well, whatever I do next has to be meaningful. And I have to have some kind of passion for it because I had no more passion for my painting business anymore. And so I waited and I waited and I noticed that I was talking about recovery a lot. And I was like, I love recovery. I like talking about it. I love the spirituality. I love everything it's given me, the people I've met, the things I've learned about myself. And so that's why I chose to start the podcast on recovery, was because I just like talking about it so much. So, and I think I have a lot to share. I've just gone through so much that I think maybe there's something someone could learn from me or might help someone.
Okay. So were you was the famous artist, is it Van Gogh? Is it Van Gogh? Or am I getting
No,
the name
I
wrong?
wasn't a famous artist. I was a residential commercial painter, you know. I've done every kind of painting, it's insane. I've done apartment buildings, I've done barns, I've done interior, exterior, like, yeah. Not
Okay.
murals though, but
Right.
I have painted some of my own, like, little bits of art here and there, but that's not what I was making money on.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, so what is one moment or situation that you experienced as a child or a teenager that basically helped mold you who you are today as an adult?
Ooh, okay. I was raised by I was raised by a bipolar mother with mental illness and a very quiet father. And our life revolved around my mother's mental illness and everything. Our emotions evolved around that. Everything we needed came second. Everything was second. So at a very young age, I learned that I was less than certain people. And I think I really inherited that belief. I made up the belief and I inherited that. And that's really shaped who I am today because um, it made it difficult to not have made it difficult to not have a safe parent, to not have someone in your corner emotionally, and to not have that guidance and nurturing that I needed. And so when I didn't have that for myself, I made so many bad I made so many mistakes and had to learn so many things the hard way by having to do it like that. I was independent too young and surviving too young. And, I learned to survive at a young age and then I never stopped. And it wasn't until, recovery where I really had that transition from learning, from letting go of surviving to learning how to live and getting out of survival mode. But I think that my childhood has really shaped who I am today because um, it's made me it's made me a really good mother. It's made me like a feelings coach for my kids. It's made me, um, I'm very aware of trying to show equality in the home with my kids. Like, my kids are not less than me, they're not better than me. But if I want respect from them, I give them respect too. If I want them to say please and thank you, to keep it simple, I always say please and thank you over and over and over. Like, everything I want them to do, I model for I model to them. So I'm the biggest example. So I just find that because of a lot of things I didn't have, is a lot of things I try to give to my kids. And it's just made me really considerate in that sense. And I think that But in a way, I was so considerate for so long that I gave way too much, and I've learned now to not give too much in a way. I've learned how to give appropriately, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Not always saying yes, not always giving in gifts and being available. Like I've wound that back in a little bit. So I'm in a good middle place right now. But yeah, I don't think I would be the person I was today if I didn't grow up with in such a unpredictability. Like my mom was a rager, and it was scary at times. It was just really unpredictable. You always had to, like, be prepared or hide, or I don't think that's a way for children to grow up.
No, for sure. Definitely has long-term effects on that. So,
Mhm,
now going back to your recovery, how do you
mhm,
manage any stressors that may trigger you into possibly relapsing? I know you've been going for 5 years strong, so you must be
mhm.
doing something to manage your stressors. So what are those?
Well, I entered into Alcoholics Anonymous. I did 12 steps. I got a sponsor, and I did all the things that they say to do in AA. And I've continued to do the things that they say to do in AA. And I think that gives me the recovery that I still have today. I've also done a lot of inner work of dealing with my resentments, dealing with my own anger and my losses, and dealing with, like, I've learned what my triggers are and why I'm being triggered, and I get to the root of it. And I've done a lot of that root work with a sponsor, and I've had a sponsor also help me with just like thought stopping, like catching like the things I'm saying to myself, and like correcting all my inner messages. So a lot of the triggers that I have today now are just like little awarenesses and gifts for where I need to do some healing in myself. And then I get on the phone, or I figure out, like, what is that trigger about for me?
Okay.
So I'm in control of my triggers now, and aware of them. I have a lot less now that I've gotten calmer, but I used to be just triggered all the time. And it was painful to be like that, in those first few years of recovery.
Mhm. Okay, well, thank you for sharing about that. I know it's not easy, obviously opening up and having people, know you on a personal level, especially if you can be like guarded for some stuff that you've gone through. So I do appreciate your time, and I'm glad to have you on the podcast. Hopefully, we'll be able to uh, collaborate a little bit more in the future, and then kind of go
Okay.
from there. Okay. All right. Well, thank you
Okay.
guys for watching on the Resilient Father podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed my time with Miss Jazz. You want to give us the name of your YouTube channel again?
It's No Veil Recovery on YouTube.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. You guys have a great day.
Okay, thank you.